Well, hey everybody, it is just me today. Bethany Jett. I'm one of the co-owners of Serious Writer, and Kyle is en route to Europe. I'm not sure exactly when he left, but I think he is already either on a plane or somewhere outside of the US. So for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be me, and I've got a couple of guests. I'm just confirming the date and time, but one of them is a literary agent who is also a lawyer. I am so excited to have him come on and talk to us about through a lawyer's eyes, um, publishing and contracts and all those kinds of things. And then also I have a very special picture book guest that I cannot wait to have on to share with everybody. So that's going to be super fun. And as soon as we've got the date locked in and the time, I will send that out. But today we are talking about Substack and ManyChat. And basically, I guess the overarching idea for today is outside of an email list, which is very important, what else can you do? Like, are there things that are newsletter adjacent, if you will? And the answer is yes. So that's what we're going to dive in today. So I'm going to start with Substack. I'm also going to show you some ways where you could have a newsletter that's going out, but that one that is free, but also a paid version. I'm going to share an example of that. And then we're going to dive into ManyChat, which is for Instagram, because Instagram is rolling out a feature where when someone clicks on your link in your Instagram bio, I don't think it's happened to me yet. I haven't personally seen it, but a box is popping up and Instagram is like warning you that this could be spam or a fake website. But the kicker here, from what I understand, is that the big blue button, it's not an okay button as in, okay, let me continue to the website. It's okay, return to Instagram. So Instagram is making it harder to leave Instagram. So what a lot of people are doing is they'll have something like, you leave a comment with this word or phrase, and I'll send you whatever it is in your inbox, or I'll send you a DM, which is a direct message there. And I've signed up for it. I haven't started using it yet, but they have an option for stories in Instagram, which I think that's where I'm going to kind of sit with. So today we're going to kind of cover what are these platforms, kind of talk about some ways to use them. I'm going to start using them. My goal and hope is that the challenge for this month is that you will pick one or both and start using them. And then we'll start, we can always do later group sessions like this where we kind of dig into the more meat. But kind of the idea today is to continue to grow audience with some of the platforms that are popping up and using some of the tools that are going to help make it easier so it doesn't feel like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall all the time, which is so many times how I feel when it comes to marketing, like trying to figure out what the best thing to do is when there's not a lot of time to do it. Your time is so valuable. So, okay. So if you're here and you've got questions, throw them in the chat. I can see it over here. If you're watching the replay, feel free to leave a comment with a question and we'll get started. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, I just got to move the Zoom tools out of the way so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, so this is Substack.com. So I will say that some of the things that are popping up on this homepage, they're nobody that I've subscribed to. I'm pretty sure that this is, I don't think I'm signed in, but I haven't subscribed to anybody on here. But there was like a so I saw it and then I hit it. So we are going live in here. I don't know what's going to pop up, and hopefully it's nothing horrifying. Yeah, I guess I am logged in here. I was trying to like do this so you could see the homepage. So let me log out and see if we can just get to, here we go. This is what Substack.com looks like when you get started. So this is a place for people to read, and it's a place for people to create. It's very similar, in my opinion, to the Medium platform. So if you're not familiar with Medium, just check out Medium. I think it's medium.com. It could be medium.org, but it's a place for creators to go. They can get paid for having people subscribe to, I think they call them collaborations. There'll be like these online magazines in there, and you can like sign up to be a writer from one of them. And then people pay to have access to that type of writing. And then as a writer for them, you get a portion of that subscription based on it could be the amount of views or the read time. I'm not really sure how it works because I never really got started in there. But a lot of writers have done very well, not so much blogging on their website, but using Medium, because a lot of people come to Medium to read. And so one of the tricks, if you're going to use a Substack or a Medium or something similar, is make sure you've got something in the bio that's going to draw them to your website. Like that bio space is unused territory in many instances. And so I'm just going to use a basic broad example. If you have a checklist, no matter what you're writing, if you have some type of checklist, whether it's a checklist of books to the new books to buy in your genre, or if you're gearing more towards an audience on a topic, it could be a checklist for them. This one creator did a morning checklist. And so his topics that he wrote about were productivity and time management and that type of thing. So he did a morning checklist. Well, all his posts were, it wasn't about morning checklist, it was about those other topics, productivity, time management. But in his bio, he mentioned, I've got a free morning checklist routine for you here. And then it was hyperlinked so that they could go and check out and get that free download. That is how he built his platform and built his email list, because when they go to get the checklist on his website, now they're putting their email in to get that. And now they're going through an email funnel that he has set over on his website. So he constantly was ping-ponging, I don't know if that's the right term, but it was like ping pong. He would send people over to Medium articles on his blog. He would start, I think one creator started their blog on their website with some information, but then they would direct people to Medium to get more. And on Medium, they would write information and then direct people to go to the website to get the freebie. And that's how he built his list to a very big amount of people and got a couple of very big book deals. But that was part of, he did other things too. He guest posted, but this was nonfiction. But that was a strategy that worked very, very well. So something to consider when we're thinking about how to use this as a creator. So this is a great place to read. It's also a great place to create. I have set up an account. I haven't started writing anything yet. I'm still trying to do some research within my own topics to kind of see what's going to be good here. And that's what you're going to want to do too. Now you can go to substack.com and scroll through here. So I'm going to move the cursor a little bit fast. I just want to scroll through this homepage to get it on the recording. And then of course you can slow it down or go to the website. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit to this next area. There's all kinds of topics that you can read about or even write for. Scroll down some more. They're saying this is your intellectual property. It is about growing an audience. And like they're talking about, let me just read this. A Substack combines a blog, newsletter, payment system, and customer support team, all integrated seamlessly with a simple interface. We handle the admin, billing, and tech, so you can focus on your best work. So, if having an assistant would be like the dream gift of a lifetime, then you can look at platforms like this where some of those admin roles, if somebody was handling a payment portion of your newsletter, they're going to handle that for you. Now they're going to take some of the profit, but I mean, okay. You may feel differently, but sometimes I'm like, if this program can do this for me, that's great. Because having an assistant is wonderful, but sometimes it's not something that we can handle right now. So this is a system that's going to be able to handle some of those things. So this is what their page looks like. I don't know, basics. They got a lot of information here. So we're just going to move on. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, I had it signed in. Now, I know her through Twitter, but I've never actually heard her say her name. So I think it's Kesia Lupo. She's a literary agent. Super great. I love following her over on Twitter /X. And I really love her Substack. So the page that I did have this on, because I had this all set up and ready to go, there was a button where you could subscribe to this, or there's a little gray line that says never mind, read now or something. And that's what I had clicked in to get here, because I haven't subscribed to anybody's yet, but hers is open. I think that what could happen as a creator is you might be able to give people like a a freebie trial where they can read your Substack before they pay. I'm not sure about that. You can have it open, and then you can also have it where like people can pay a certain dollar amount a month. So it could be like, you could say $5 and you're going to get this Substack. So my suggestion would be to have a free Substack and get interest. And then based on what you're seeing happen within your Substack, there might be a topic that you could go more niche on. And that might be something that people would be willing to pay for, whether it's information or extra content or resources or things like that you can curate. That's something that, it would be a way to earn a little bit of income. And you can use these numbers in terms of, it's not an email list, but it would be a Substack following. And then the goal, I think, would be is, what kind of things can you create or give away on your website where you also are drawing people over to that website to kind of build the email list at the same time. If that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments. Let me know, and I can clarify. So her thing is about really about the querying process and then how to work with your agent. So she's been, these are just her thoughts on this. Not very many in here. It's still pretty new. And then there's recommendations here. So I'm just going to click into one. So you can kind of see it very much looks like Medium. If you're like, this looks like Medium, it's because it really does. So it's basically a post. It's like an article, and she's just going through and sharing. Now, what's interesting is Substack is like, oh, hey, log in, subscribe. That'll be great. So they're going to do that kind of thing for you. You don't have to set that up. But there's a lot of really good information in here. Word count, editing, what type of editing, and she's giving a lot of value here. So, and what's nice here is here's where she's using her links. So you can see like, there's not like, you scroll down, there's not like a bio area, like, whose Substack you're reading. So what she did, there's a place for comments. What she did, if I scroll up a little bit, hope I'm not making anybody nauseous. Here's where she is promoting. Let me just highlight this. You can book in person one-to-one, which is like a one-on-one, like a pitch session, or it could be a critique session with her via the website. So she's going to be there. And in the general market, when you go to a conference, you pay for pitch appointments or time with the agents and the editors. It doesn't come as part of your registration. And so what she's saying is, hey, you can book a time with me. And that's how she's directing them out. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. If you're going to use Substack, make sure that there is some sort of call to action, which is often called CTA. There's some kind of CTA. And it could, if you're like, I don't have anything to give away, I'm not selling anything, then find a resource, find something that goes along with what you're working on and send them there. So like if you're writing cookbook, wink, wink, then one thing you could do is, hey, have you heard of this creator? Go check out the way their recipe for this. Send them to a YouTube page for somebody. Like if you don't have anything that you're ready for them to sell and there's nothing on your website to send them to, then give them an outside resource. If there's a way for you to, honestly, I'd rather you send them to their website. So if you're like, maybe it's a bread recipe. So maybe you do like take 10 minutes and just search for maybe 3 really great YouTubers who are creating 3 different kinds of bread, or one YouTube channel that has the 3 different kinds of bread. Why don't you just go over to your website real quick, make a blog post that says my 3 favorite bread recipes. So maybe you're not the one making them, but in the article you can talk about, okay, if we're gearing up for this, here's the 3 recipes, and then you're linking to those creators for people to go watch them. But you have made the article that's got, hey, here's 3 or 10, and you can add to that over time, because that way, instead of just sending them to YouTube from your Substack, now you're sending them to your website, and then your website can send them over to YouTube. But at least you're kind of doing that ping pong game of driving traffic, if you will. Now, it makes sense in this case. It doesn't make sense for her to go to her website and make them click the website and then go to pay, because they're directly wanting to go pay for that. So it does, it kind of depends on what you're doing. And there's a lot of variables, but this could be a very powerful way to do it. So let's click over here. I wanted to show you kind of like some of the steps if you're going to sign up for your own. this is where you can import your own email list. And so this is kind of exciting. I'm going to look more into this. You have to think, do I want what I'm going to write about here? Is that going to work for my own newsletter? And who do you want to import there? So this is, like I said, start figuring this out if you're going to do it. I'm going to be digging into this too. And then we can always do a follow-up on strategy. So it seems like this is going to be a pretty powerful. So I just want to kind of, let's see if we skip for now, and then you can add the subscriber. So I'm going to stop here because, well, let's skip for now. It's been doing this the whole time, trying to get me to do this. So I don't know, we reached the end of our rope, I think, for the tutorial on the inside look of Substack. So I'm just gonna click out of here. So any questions on Substack or how to use Substack, leave a comment. I don't see anything in the chat, so we're just gonna go ahead and move on. So let's move on to ManyChat. I'm gonna open up Chrome here. Let me do a quick, I wanna share a different screen for you. Hello. And goodbye. All right, here's where I had Substack open before. All right, here, this is ManyChat. So I'm logged in Safari, so I moved over to the Chrome browser so that it would stop pulling the inside details for me. So this is ManyChat. So now we're kind of switching from an email adjacent third-party app to something that is very specific over on Instagram, and Facebook and WhatsApp, which is all owned by Meta, because if you see down here in the corner, they are Meta business partners. So these are the only three places that you're going to be able to use this. This is super powerful, and I'm very excited to start using it myself. So again, I'm going to scroll just kind of quickly, so nobody, but not quick enough to people get nauseous watching it scroll and try. The example on their homepage is it says get 10% off my first order. Well, that is probably a key phrase that the creator has said, either message me or put this in the chat. So here's the bot. This is the ManyChat with an automated message directing them to do something, which is to give an email, which she does. And now the welcome code pops up. So you may have seen this in Facebook Messenger before. Facebook Messenger has a way where you can just go in on the business side on the back end, and you can create like an automatic reply. I have those set up in some of my groups. This is very similar to that. There's a lot of companies that do this kind of thing. Let's just scroll down. Let's scroll down. I want to show you, it's talking about the conversion rates. Scrolling down, there's this area here I want to get to. Ugh. I was hoping it would show stories. So I clicked on the Instagram DMs, but the thing is, it also has a way that you can do this in your Instagram story. So let's say that you are somebody who's creating a lot of Instagram reels, or even just content like a carousel or a picture that you're putting over on Instagram. And then you're directing people to leave a comment with a phrase. Once that key phrase is recognized, a link or a message goes to the inbox of that person. I love this as a consumer. So just, I'm taking off my creator hat for a second. As a consumer, I love that when I'm watching a gardening video and they're talking about like a special resource or something, that they can say, comment tomato, excuse me, comment tomato, and I'll send you over the list of like when to be planting the tomatoes. Yes. Type in tomato, it's in my DM. What I love about it as a consumer is I know that information is in my inbox, so I don't have to go look at it right away, but I know that it's there. And now what has happened on the creator side is now there is an open exchange where someone has asked for you to give them something. So if I'm ready to go look at the tomato thing, I'll just go to my inbox, click on the link, and now I'm at their website, or I'm on their Amazon, in their Amazon store, or a lot of people will use like to know it, LK, LTK, I don't know. I just call it like to know it because I get like a little bit, I know it's stupid, but like their acronym. I always jumble the letters, but it's basically like an Amazon store where they can say, okay, here's the products that I'm using. And then you can go click on those products and then go shop. So it's very much a passive income type of thing. But I love that the links are in here. You can send them to a video. You can send them to a book. Like if you're launching a book, you can send them to books on your competition list. You can send them to your website. You can send them basically anywhere, and you can provide a lot of value. A lot of times it's so hard to build that email list. That's, I think, part of the frustration, because you're having to promote and get people to go over to the website. We still want them to do that, but this is a very, very powerful way and a very easy way, because it's very easy if somebody is watching your content on Instagram, whether it's in a story or on Facebook, like they're getting a message, or on Instagram as a reel or a content, it's very easy for them to just type a keyword in the comment. You're not asking them to go anywhere. And I think that this could be leveraged easily, and without a lot of work. Once you get it set up, it's just done. And there's creators that I follow, like as a consumer, just as a mom, as somebody who likes planners, as somebody who likes to like have like the organization things in the house. Like every time that they're talking about these kinds of things or showing something, sometimes I will all the time be commenting and looking at things, or jumping over into their Amazon store and then buying something that I saw, especially if there's like a deal on it. I love that's great content for people. So this works. I'm just gonna tell you, this works on the consumer end. On the creator side, it's trying to figure out, okay, here's my audience, what do they need? And once you figure out the rhythm for your audience, the kind of things that they are going to comment the word for, so that it will automatically send them a link to something. Once you have that figured out, that's when things go crazy in terms of building platform and building that audience. The hard part is always figuring out, where's my sweet spot? Like, what is worth it to them? What kind of value am I bringing? And that's, I think, where the frustration comes in with marketing so much, is you've got all this good information and people want it. And so it's like, how do I create this in a way that they're going to want to do this? So if you're working on building an email list, if you're working on building that audience, that's so important. This might be a tool that's so helpful in order to do that. I'm very excited to start using this as well. And I've been talking about it for like the last couple months. So like, listen, if you're like, I felt burnt out by marketing, I feel like I don't have time, I am right there with you. And so anything that's going to make this a little bit easier, like Substack and ManyChat, those are the two things that I'm like, maybe if I can just figure these two things out, these will be the keys that help me figure out the broader thing. That's what I'm kind of hoping for you as well. So this is ManyChat. So I'm going to stop my share again, because I don't need Chrome anymore, and I want to go back into Safari and let you see a little bit into the back end. I haven't started using it yet, and so it'll be a pretty clean thing to look at. Let me go back in here. Okay. Does anybody else have like multiple tabs open and windows open all the time? Is it just me? So I'll make sure this is the right one. Okay. So I am inside of ManyChat. All I have done is just set it up. I haven't done anything else. So, but then it told me I had like 29 contacts, and I think that it's pulling like from like an Instagram message or something, because I set it up with my Instagram story. It doesn't mean, as I learned today, as I pulled it in, it doesn't mean that 29 people have messaged like a comment to a word, because I haven't set anything up. So let's just look at this, because this is where I will be getting started. You can convert the comments into sales, which basically means that you're sending people the link. But this is Instagram comments or real comments, which is like the videos. And then you can also do it to grow your account. So it seems like there's a couple things where they look at your goals. What is the goal and how are you using Instagram? And so I had chosen that I wanted to use stories more. And I wanted to, engagement was my thing. It was, for me, it's not about growing the number of followers, because right now I want to figure out, what does my current audience want? And what are they willing? I'm kind of wanting to test what kind of things, if I say, leave this word and you'll get this, that's a great way to test what your audience wants. I'm going to try to come up with 3 to 5 different options and then create content telling people to comment the word and see which ones people actually comment on. This is a free way, especially because it looks like there's a 14-day trial. This is a free way for you to do some really great testing with your audience to figure out what it is that they want, because then you can take that data and now you can use it for everything else. So here's where it's kind of telling you about how to automate, and then there's a whole lot of things. So this is what your back end will look like once you've connected it to one account, which I connected to Instagram, and I haven't moved on from here. So this is it's been very easy and very intuitive on Substack and ManyChat. It walks you through step by step what they want you to do next, until you get here. And I wasn't ready to do a template. So if you're going to be using either one of these, please leave me a comment and let me know which one that you're going to start. If you're going to start a Substack, or if you're going to look at ManyChat, or if you're going to want to do both of them, like I would like to know which one of these, or none of them. Maybe you're like, this doesn't work for me at all, and that's totally fine, but I would just love to know. So type a comment, type in the chat, and we're going to kind of shift over from ManyChat real quick, and I'm going to show you one other way that you can create newsletters. And it's not Substack, but it is reaching an audience. So we're going to go to Jane Friedman. And so Jane Friedman is such an icon in the writing community. She's been doing this for a really long time, and like since the 90s. But she knows so much and has so much research on what is going on. So this is going to be a great resource for you. Okay, just leave the chat. So regarding ManyChat and Substack, not sure I quite understand them yet, but I think ManyChat might be an easy platform to get me going. Yeah, I think it's going to be great to incorporate that for you on Instagram, particularly because of the type of content that you're creating and going to be creating with your book. I think that ManyChat is, I think if I had to pick one for you specifically, I'm sorry to the replay viewers. I'm looking at my chat over here to Dawn. I think that if I had to pick one for you, I would say dive into ManyChat for sure. Totally agree. So coming back to Jane Friedman, she has on her homepage, she has how 3 ways to connect and do more with her. She's got a free newsletter, and you can sign up for it here. Then she's got another one, which is a paid newsletter. This is the hot sheet. I have just started subscribing to this, and I'm so excited. I have a few of them in my inbox, and I cannot wait to dive in and read them. But it's amazing. So this is her paid one, and it has a free trial. So on here, she's making sure that she's reaching everybody. Like some people are going to come in and they don't need, like she specifically says, she calls it for professional authors, people who want the deep dive into the industry. That's the paid one, because it's worth paying for if you're in that group. Then she has it for creative people, for the writers, people who just want to kind of have like updates and figure out what's going on. Here's the free one. And so this is how she has said, I've got this broad audience, and here's how I'm going to separate out paid and my free. And you can do the same thing. You can say, okay, my free newsletter, which I would start with before you start the paid one, is going to cover all these topics. As you're watching what's happening within your newsletter in terms of how are people coming into the newsletter? Like if you're giving away different, we call them lead magnets. So if you're giving away a morning checklist, let's say you're giving away a recipe. Let's just go with recipes, actually. Then let's say you're giving away a dessert recipe, a holiday recipe, and a easy dinner for families recipe. Well, let's say you're getting people to sign up for all of them, but everyone is signing up for the easy family dinners. Then that would be like, I would say, let's put more focus here. And then is there a way to, and there may or may not be a way to monetize. I think there's always a way. People know how to go in and say, okay, this is the information that's worth paying for. This is the information I can give away for free. A lot of the subscriptions, anything you're going to do subscription, you have to very much think about your audience in terms of like personal. How can I make this personal to them? And so like in marketing, we always I always kind of say the phrase in my mind, people pay for personal. So you can give away a lot of free information because you're having to be pretty general with it. So that way you're kind of covering everybody who's coming in. When you go more specific, that's the specific, the niche, that's where you might be able to test out doing a paid newsletter. And then she's also got a free class that she's doing. So you could just start with start with the free. And whether you do that through your email service provider like MailChimp or MailerLite or ConvertKit, that's totally fine. You may say, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this over on Substack. That's also totally fine. And then as you're learning, you may come in and say, okay, I want to do a paid one. Now she has her set up in the back end of her website. Substack is saying, hey, we'll take a little portion of this because we're going to handle all the billing for you. But we'll just send you a check. Or it's not going to be a check. It's going to be PayPal probably. But we'll just send you money based on how many people are going to subscribe to it in the same way that Medium does. And that might work really well for you because then the payoff is worth it. So I'm just going to scroll down real quick. Oh, let me just click over. I clicked on the professional one so you could see. So when you click on it, here's where it goes into more details about what you're going to get. And everything on this page, it's not about Jane anymore. It's all about the information you're going to get if you subscribe. And she's got a trial, or you can get 2 issues for free. She's got a way for you to look at it. And then she's kind of telling you like all the things that you're going to get. And the things, as you're thinking about what you're going to do, because you're probably not going to be reaching out to writers, but things that people they always want to be in the know. Like, what's the next thing? Extra tips and tricks, money saving deals, all kinds of things. There's all kinds of things you could do. I was like, I'm going to go off onto a big rabbit trail if I don't. And so then this is just her landing page. The whole idea of this page is getting people to sign up. It's 1 awards, $59 for the year. Everything's just right there. So that's how she's using this as the paid. I'm going to click back over to her main here. What I love about her site is how clean it is and how direct it is. And before you even scroll down, you don't have to scroll really very far to see all the things that she can do. I think it's very, very powerful for your own website too. Not that we're kind of digging into websites in this class, but have a way for people to subscribe to you where they're not having to scroll to find it. So if you have your join my email list down at the bottom of the page, well, they may never get there. They may not scroll that long. People will come to the homepage of your website and then they're going to bounce off pretty quick. So having it pretty high up is really, really great. She's got a lot. Her blog is great. She's just great. Oh, look, free classes, paid classes. So the nice thing is that as you're building this out, you're going to be able to do both. I do like the word resource here, and it would be something that I think on your website is a really good thing to have, is a resources area, because no matter what you're doing, there's going to be resources. Even if you're writing, let's say you're writing high fantasy fiction, well, some of your resources could be the top 10 books to check out. I mean, there's people who make those lists all the time, but a lot of those lists make it to the top of the Google page because as people are typing in, top blank or best of blank, it's people who have kind of curated these lists, they can start to see a lot of traffic that way. So having some blog posts on your own website where you're doing like a roundup, like here's the 5 best YouTubers who are showing how to do this, or here's if you're visiting Michigan, here are the 5 things you should totally see. Like those would be great articles to have. I call them articles instead of blog posts because sometimes people think of blog posts as diary entries, and I don't really like to think of them that way. But think of your content as a post or an article. Get that on the website. Like that's very fun to search. It's very easy to put on Pinterest. Those are the kinds of things that people are searching for, like in Pinterest, YouTube, and then in Google. And so if you think of Pinterest and YouTube as a search engine, which they are, then that could help you. So I hope that was a lot. I know I covered quite a bit. Just trying to dance around a few different things. As I'm getting into this more, I'm going to be able to help more as I'm kind of like figuring it out myself. But I think and hope that this is going to be something that that you can adopt. I don't know about the cost for ManyChat. Like I haven't paid for any of these things yet. So I don't know that there might be a free level for people there. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think I clicked free trial yet because I wanted to wait, but I don't remember. So I'm just trying to be real transparent about that. Okay. I don't see any questions coming in. I'm going to give a second for any questions to come in. in the chat here, and then we will sign off. Hope Kyle is doing well on his trip. The Italy trip last year was so wonderful, and I wish I was going to be there this year, but family came first. That's what we want. So all right, I don't see any questions. Thank you for being here with me live, and thank you for watching this replay all the way out. I'll be sending out more details about our guest speakers once they're confirmed, and I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks that we're going to be together. I've hope to really give you a lot of really great value for there. So thank you for being a Serious Writer Club member, Patreon member, and we'll see you next week. Bye.